Hello, hello, good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Hi everybody, welcome to my video. How are you guys doing this fine morning, afternoon, evening for my people up in the UK? How are you guys doing? So, I have some fun news and I have some exciting stuff to share. So, as of this weekend, technically, I will be putting a lot of my attention into a project with a partnering company that I've been working with for a long time, and it's a company called I'm a Ninja. So this company and I will be essentially working together, and I'm going to be creating a lot of their artwork. And that involves creating this little ninja dude and a bunch of variety of kids stories and kids books and card games and all these sorts of things. So I have to develop the ability to draw this character in every way, shape, and form. So I've spent the last day or so just working on the actual shapes that I want to make my character, and I wanted to walk you guys through the process so you guys see how I would actually develop these sort of ideas with an actual project instead of just something that I want to develop for myself. Okay, so we're gonna go about drawing some ninjas while we figure out what we do today. So you guys will see me and I'll talk about the process and the design elements that I'm thinking about while I do this. But I want you guys to reach a consensus as to who and what we are going to be learning today. I want you guys to be more engaged. I want you guys to actually put some effort into what you guys want to learn instead of me just guessing. And that is going to just come with time and having you guys pay attention to the stream and wanting to do that and stuff like that. But there's a lot of you out there that are very eager to learn specific things. So this is for you. If you guys want to learn a topic, repeat it in the chat. And then when I start seeing a consensus of the same topic being mentioned over and over, I will begin our lesson. And don't forget to like and share the stream as well if you guys feel like it. That always helps. So show me how to draw a really nice PP. Okay, so you're gonna have your letter P is going to be a very fascinating letter to draw. You can draw it like that. You can draw it like this. You can draw it all graffiti-ish. And then all you gotta do is combine two PPs together, and then you have a PP that looks really pretty. There you go. Is that good enough for you, son? Mr. I want to be funny. There's always one of them. There's always one of them. Someone just trying to be silly. Gosh, I'm so mad I missed the beginning of this. No, this is just the beginning of it. We haven't really done anything. We didn't do this on stream. I did this on my own free time. This is just what I'm doing while I wait for you guys to reach a consensus as to what to teach. And I have not seen anyone share my stream today. So no one has shared it. There's 248 people and no shares. How sad is that? That's the only thing I ever ask you guys to do. Just to and share the stream while we begin our lessons so more people join. That's literally the only thing I ever ask of you guys, and you guys never do it. And people wonder why we don't teach for free. Just saying. Let's see. You press the button right here. If you want to share, you just press that button. While you guys stare at these wonderful, wonderful little doodles, I'm going to go grab something to drink real fast. I know I should have probably done that when I started, but we will start our stream when we get to 100 shares. And we get to, I don't know how many likes we have. Let's get to 5,000 likes. So once we get to that, we will begin our stream. I'm going to grab something to drink real fast. I'll see you guys in a split second. Okay, how we doing? Did we get to the numbers? We almost did. Got my coffee, got my pen, got my watercolors by Grabby. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. people over at Grabby for sending me this beautiful watercolor kit. You can find it in my description in my bio. I'm gonna test a bunch of things and I'm gonna start putting things up. Mostly because I need to fund a couple new things in my studio. I noticed that my webcam is really shitty. So if I want to start streaming to YouTube at the same time as I do here, I need to get a better webcam. So I might have to actually sell some things to be able to actually afford that. But don't worry, I'm not going to be pushing brands down your throats or anything. Anyways, what should we learn today? What are we going to do? Yo, what's up? Charlie hates you. What up? How are you guys doing today? Animals. Okay, that's one topic. Do you guys agree? Animals? Faces. Faces and animals. Animals, faces. Faces or animals. Furries. Okay, cool. Animals it is. Animals. And then we'll do some faces if we run into more time. How about that? If we feel like doing more, we'll do more. All right, so today's topic is animals. And oh my god, I found this creator on TikTok here as well, right? That is just as animated as me or way more. And it's just really cool. I forget his name, but I see his art stuff nowadays a lot because I post a lot of art stuff. So I see it and it's and there's more. And I just absolutely love his energy that he has. I love seeing all the creators that do just art in general. Anybody trying to teach is a friend of mine. Oh, I get to go to Comic-Con next week. So if anyone is going to go to the San Diego Comic-Con and you guys happen to see a weird guy dressed in a Mario outfit and just a towel, I literally am just going to be wearing a towel with Princess Peach on it and sandals. So if you guys see me walking around with strutting my mustache, my glasses, and just walking around sipping on a Slurpee, make sure to say hi, because I want to meet some of you guys, and I have never gotten a chance to really meet fans in a fun way, so I would love to meet some of you guys. I will be Sexy Shower Mario with socks and sandals. So I will see you guys at Comic-Con. If you guys see me, make sure to say hi. Anyways, let's draw some animals today. So, first of all, why can Rod draw animals? Why can Rod teach us animals? Well, I worked at the San Diego Zoo as a caricature artist for about 4 years. When you're being a caricature artist for a theme park, you have to draw caricatures in like minutes. So I would have to draw the silly little kids with their ugly little faces, right? Like little bratty kids just being terrors. And then I would have to draw them with adorable animals. So half the time I would have to draw them with pandas, with lions. Like my favorite were just drawing pandas like they're being tortured. Like I used to love drawing kids just like hugging them. But people frowned upon that. And they would complain about that quite often because they want their kid to look like a little prince or whatever when the little demon child is just like running around, not even letting you draw him. So, yeah, I have a little bit of a irkness when it comes down to drawing kids just super cute. Like, oh my God, kids are not cute. Kids are horrible. But anyways, let's draw some animals. I'm going to give you guys some like easy tips and tricks that you guys can use. And these are going to be a lot of the bases that I use for my 21 Draw class, right? This is going to be like essentially module 1 for the 21 Draw class that I have for sale, like through 21 Draw. But you guys are going to get like a little snippet of it, and you guys will get like an idea of what you guys could learn. That actual like thing that I have for 21 Draw it's like a hidden marketing t-shirt merchandising class, but I hide like the fact that it's cute animals. Like, so I teach you guys how to draw a cute animal, right? But I also teach you guys how to make stickers, how to make t-shirts, how to make posters, how to make money with it. So it's like it's a very, very full class that is hidden because they give me certain topics that I'm allowed to teach, right? I'm not allowed, like, they don't let me have the liberty to teach whatever I want. So they normally go like, oh, we need a class for like animals. We need a class for this. We need a class for this. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I can do that. And then I just hide everything that I possibly can when it comes down to the knowledge of like understanding production lines and vectorizing artwork and, you know, all the stuff that's necessary to make those little cute drawings valuable. I teach you guys that too. And it all comes down to understanding that your little animal guys are super simple shapes, right? Most of the time, they can be broken down into a little beanbag. Most animals can be broken down into a little beanbag in one way or the other, or at least simplified to the point where it becomes easy to draw them because you have a beanbag there. Generating texture with your pen strokes is going to be very important when it comes down to drawing animals, especially when you're trying to draw animals in the wild or animals in their own like little habitats. It's going to involve a lot of texture work. It's going to involve a lot of penmanship when it comes down to either your pencils or your pens. Your little swishies and your little Z strokes and your little circles and dots, all those are going to play a role when it comes down to creating texture within your elements. Keeping your cross-hatching in mind as well is going to be a big role of it. You're going to have a lot of control over your actual penmanship. So penmanship is acquired through practice. EXP. Okay, so you got to practice using the utensils that you're using. It could be a pencil, it could be this, it could be that, it could be pretty much anything. Whatever it is that you're going to use, practice with that pen over and over. Get used to that same material over and over. Because not even two pens Like two normal black pens don't write the same. I prefer these. I prefer big ones because they have a very consistent line work. So I can get incredibly thin lines that are consistent. I can't do that with some of the other roller pens because they just don't facilitate that. They don't let the flow, even if I hit it super soft, it still lays down too thick of a line. So I prefer to use the ones that I actually like to use. So I find a material that works for me, that's not necessarily expensive, so I can afford it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then I use that to create my art, or at least my like initial sketches, which, you know, take up a lot of the most of the majority of my drawing time. And then anything that I draw, anything that I do that I want to take into digital, like the digital world, I just take a picture of it. So if you guys want to create really cute, appealing characters and animals, try to keep it to a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay? One shape for your head, one big shape for your body. If you keep it in the 1-to-1 ratio, it's very easy to just create like a big head. Let's say, what animal should this be? Let's make a bunny. Okay, so deciding on and he's gonna be like an anime bunny. He's gonna have like a star on his head. Deciding what you're gonna draw is step one. Deciding how you're gonna segment the body is step two. And understanding how actual like anatomies work with different animals is going to be step three. Don't jump into a final like part of your design without really understanding how those elements work. Like that is a big thing that happens just constantly in the this is forehead's way too big. Let's make the ears longer. Then we'll make him a space bunny because we have lines now. There you go. And we'll give him this little spacesuit, and now the star actually plays a role. There you go. Space bunny! No planet. But yeah, in order to be able to understand in general like the concepts of bodies, and this goes for animals and humans and everything in between, if you want to get used to drawing bodies, you need to come up and understand that most bodies are shaped by a couple hard surfaces. Okay, so in this case of a human, we have the hard surface of the rib cage. We have the hard surface of the hip bones. We have the hard surface of the upper part of the head, because that's what doesn't move. Right? So we have a bunch of different elements that are making our body shape the way that it is. Right? If we follow the contours of these, we tend to get the shape that we need for our bodies. So if we take those same elements and we apply them to something like a little bunny rabbit, even though we segmented it into two sections, we just have that as a limitation to what all these things are supposed to go in. Okay? So from here, that's where your little legs come out from. Your arms come from the same place that a human's body would. And then our head gets segmented into whatever type of anatomical thing we need to get done for our little bunny rabbit, with our ears being elements that come out from the top. Right? So everything that we have has that structure. It's up to you to understand just that basic structure, these three basic elements. If you understand these three elements, your head, your rib cage, and your hip bones. If you understand those three, you can draw absolutely any character that has a skeletal system. Now, let's see how that applies to different sorts of animals. So, a human is going to have its head, its rib cage, hip bones, and appendages, right? So, appendages come out of these little holes. So, we're going to draw just a basic human, and we're going to draw a couple animals next to it, just so you understand how those would correlate. Okay, so we have our basic little dude with our jaw, and we're gonna just focus on basically just a skeleton. Okay, so we have this guy. This is a normal human, whatever, basic, generic dude. We'll call him Stan the Skeleton, okay? So Stan the Skeleton has three parts. He has a head, he has a rib cage, and he has hip bones. Those three basic components are going to be transferred to pretty much every other animal that has a skeletal system. So nothing like slugs or, like insects. Those have exoskeletons. Those don't have really bones like us. But anything that has a skull is going to have a very similar approach when it comes down to your body. So what animal do you guys think we can make this into? Well, if I just follow the lines and see what type of shapes we have right now playing, I can imagine something that would be, I don't know, maybe like a bear. Something along the lines of a beaver could work as well. Our arms are going to come out of the same place. They're just, they have a skeletal system, so they still have arms, and they have the same sort of like arm structures. So you can have fun playing with your shapes. They just connect a little bit different than what a normal body would, but you end up with very similar traits happening even in an animal body. Okay? And as you go about, you can even use those same ideas so you can actually give your characters humanoid expressions and therefore be able to create things that are really, really fun. So taking something and understanding how it moves, how it's created, how it's built, even if it is linked to just human anatomy, is going to provide you the ability to draw multiple different types of animals. Let's take into consideration an animal that's not necessarily vertical. We have a rib cage, we have a head, and we have hip bones. Okay? So if an animal has a longer snout, that means that their skeletal system has a bigger front end. That probably means that their eye sockets are angled. And then the nose canal ends up being something like that. Right? So when you have understanding of how your skeletal system works, even for different animals, then it's easier for you to actually be able to draw the thing that they are. So in this case, this could be anything like a dog, could be anything like pretty much a canine in general. In this case, though, let's make the ears by tracing a line around our skull, and then choosing 2 points on both ends, bringing those up and bringing those back down. So now we have our ears perfectly mapped because we just drew through our shape a little bit. From here, let's draw some eyes fitting within our eye sockets. Then we'll draw the nose, that the cartilage for the nose comes from those little pockets. I know that my top teeth are right here and my bottom teeth are here, so my jowls just go around like my lips. And just like that, we have the ability to draw something like a dog. The tail comes out of the hip bones. So you end up being able to draw just like you would with a human, but now you're drawing different animals. Okay, this is just a basic human arm, again, with stubby toes. A basic human arm with stubby toes. For the back legs for animals, you end up getting slightly different proportions, but you still have a thigh. You have the bottom part of the thigh, the calf and stuff like that, and then you get your toes. That's just mapped out a little bit different. And they're just different proportions, but they have the same parts. So understanding human anatomy in general, once you understand human anatomy, you'll be able to apply that same knowledge to animal anatomy because it's very similar. They have a rib cage and they have hip bones. And as long as an animal has a rib cage and hip bones, it's going to be the same system to be able to draw them. So let's draw something completely different. Let's draw like a giraffe or something. So we have our rib cage. We have our hip bones back here. They connect with a spine. And then that spine is going to lead to the neck and to the skull. Now, I am not very familiar as to how the skulls of giraffes work, but I'm going to assume, since they have a long snout, that their teeth are going to be around there. I'm just assuming. They might be longer, it might be shorter, but I'm just assuming. They also have these little tiny like antenna type of thingies at the top of their head. So the overall shape for my character is going to be along the lines of this. Now the other little details, like the legs and the angle in which those go and stuff like that, is going to be highly dependent on how the giraffe is standing and how that's made. But just understanding how they move and how they flex their limbs and how their front and back legs connect, again, to the same rib cage. And then things like hair start adding elements of an actual giraffe, alongside with the tail. You slowly start seeing a giraffe come through. And then you give it the spots. and then you end up with a giraffe. So it's the same elements, just distorted depending on how the face structure works. Now, how do we simplify this so that we are not having to learn every single type of face or every single kind of animal? But which I highly recommend anyways that you do. I highly recommend that you actually learn how animals work instead of guessing and mixing and matching everything. But in the meantime, if you guys want to draw animals and still have them look cool and be easy, draw your mask. And then during this little mask hole, this is where you draw that extra shape. That's it. Draw your mask just like you would with a human, right? And you would normally draw a nose right here for a human. And your eyebrows and your eyes, right? That is how you use the mask for a human. For an animal, it's the same thing, just instead of drawing eyebrows, draw like, I don't know, the markings of the whatever. Or give them eyebrows, why not? All you do is just extract that little hole so you can create ears or mouths or snouts. So take your mask approach, the same mask approach that you use for humans, expand that part to be whatever type of shape you need for a nose, and now you have, I don't know, beaks. You can draw pretty much anything, really. See what I mean? It's just a matter of explaining the process properly so that you guys can put your imagination to it without dreadfully thinking that it's more complicated than it really is. So you want me to explain the mask method a little bit more? Okay, I'll explain it really quickly. Mostly because we explain it a lot in videos and then it just eats up a lot of the time. So you can just go watch some of my other videos and find it. But if you guys want to learn what the mask method is, it's just essentially a way to map out the basic components of your skull. Let's say that we want to mask out, I don't know, our nose canal, our nose, eye sockets, our temples, and where our cheekbones are really quickly, right? That would be a pain in the butt to mask out normally. But if you just do this shape, you have all those elements. This is the basic shape for all those elements. This gives you your cheekbone. This gives you your temple. So you have your side of your face. This gives you that little diamond part for your nose. So your nose just fits in there. Your eyebrows are the top line. And that leads to your nose bridge. So it tells you where a lot of things are really, really quickly, right? So yes, you're only drawing the top part of the head because the bottom part of the mouth is either something closed, like a closed mouth, or it could be like, somebody screaming. That part moves a lot, so I don't like drawing it at first. So that is the mask method, and it's simplified by just dividing your shape. It could be in two, literally split it in two, and then just create the little mask going around. Your nose comes out of there. It's just a very easy, simple way to mask out your characters without it requiring a style. Right? You're not required to keep it to a certain style. You can use the mask on something that's completely stylized or something that's more realistic. It's completely up to you what type of styling you use. It's just a way to map out your features so that you can apply them in the right place. So it's more like a systemic, like, placing theory rather than like a face drawing theory, I guess. But it's helpful if you're having issues drawing the same side of the eye, the same placement where the eyes go and stuff like that. I saw somebody say something about the jawbone. And since that applies to animals, let's apply that to just skeleton in general. So let's say that we have a cool, weird skeleton system and we're going to draw our mask to get it right. We're going to draw our mask so we can get our eye sockets in the right place, so we can have our temples in the right place, and we have our nose canal in the right place. In this case, we will have, I don't know, maybe like some fangs in the front of our geometric shape, and we're going to talk about the jaw. Well, the jaw in general hinges roughly behind the cheekbone. So if you go and you find your cheekbone with your mask, your jaw is going to be roughly where a human ear, the bottom of the human ear would be. So if this is like a humanoid shape, it would be around here. Let's call this like a, I don't know, a monkey or like an ape or something like that. So if our ear is right here behind our temple, then this is where our jaw is going to start coming down. And it's easier to understand if you learn how to trace around your shape and you find the other point on the other side. So I like to do that and find where the bottom point of my ear on the other side would be. Why is that important? Well, because the jaw hinges off of that point. This is your ear. Your jaw is going to open up based on that point right there. It's going to rotate back and forth based on this little point right here. So you need to understand how your jaw rotates, because it doesn't go up and down. It does not open up and down at all. So if you have your mouth, your upper mouth, it starts going from closed to more open in a rotation. So it goes in a circle, so it goes back into space. Now, if you're looking at this from a front point of view, like if you're looking at it from a camera that's looking from the front, what do you think you would be looking at? Well, you would look at a face. Let's give him eyes. Have his nose. And then the mouth would go from being completely closed to slightly open. And every time you open your mouth a little bit more, it would be angled a little bit more down. Eventually, you would not even see the chin anymore because you just wouldn't see it because of the angle in which you are seeing this. So that is essentially how the mouth opens. So as you open up your mouth with your characters, you got to realize that, let's say we have a dude like, and you want to open his mouth really wide. If it's a cartoony thing, yeah, you can drop the mouth down, right? But that's based on style. That's not based on a real thing. A real person's mouth would move back into space. You'd probably see a little bit of the upper teeth, and you would not see a lot about their jaw anymore because it would just be moving back. Okay, so it wouldn't go back down, it would go back in space in a rotation. So that is how your mouth works. So let's apply that to an actual animal. So once we find the bottom of our ears, we're going to find how that's going to connect together. And then from there, I just have to make sure I draw my upper teeth, my back teeth, my chin. There has to have a chin, and then the bone has to have width, because this is an element with width. So you end up with a situation where you have teeth on one side, You have the girth of the actual mouth. You have teeth on the top too. Then you would have your tongue covering a lot of those teeth on the other side, and you would have the negative space from the void of your throat. So that is how your throat would be, or your jaw would work if you have an animal anatomy. The same way that it would work if you have a human anatomy. Find your ear, trace around, find your ear, draw the bottom jaw, trace the front of my face, and now I have my jaw as well. And it didn't take me any time at all, no effort, because I am just mapping out points that tell me where other things are, right? So as long as I understand the placement between one to the next object and connect the dots little by little, things are just going to fall into place. And you'll eventually get to the point where you'll be able to draw like an eyebrow, just an eyebrow, and I can probably start building the entirety of the face based on that. So I know that I'll walk you guys through it. Hold on. I'll walk you guys through the process of doing this. So if I draw my eyebrow, that tells me a couple things in my face. It tells me that this is going to be the edge of my face. It means that my eye is going to have to be within a general proximity of this. So wherever I draw my eyeball, I'm going to have my eye and my eyelid really, really close. So my eyelids are going to be hemispheres in that one big eyeball shape. The bottom eyelid is going to be marked by the bottom part of my sphere. The top eyelid is going to be marked by the top part of the sphere. The eye is a spherical shape. That makes it obvious. The brow muscle has a little bit of depth, and it normally leads to the nose bridge. The nose bridge, depending on the width of it, is normally pretty thin. The cartilage leads down to where your nose canal would be. Now, your nose canal is going to give you an indication of where your nose is going to go. Your nose cartilage has to go back into that little space. It can't just magically appear where your mouth is going to be, so you have to make sure that you map it to that point back, even if it is bringing that shape from the top, rotating and bringing it all the way back down. Okay, I need to understand where the bottom of this is, the little triangle, because that's where my teeth are going to start coming out from. From an actual anatomical point of view, you're looking at a situation where you have your eye socket going around your eyeball, and then you have your cheekbone. Your cheekbone is going to go up, come out, and then go out onto your teeth. So you're going to have your teeth. Now, your nose is going to be a little bit above that. It's going to cover a little bit of the upper part of the lip. Now, this roundness that you get from this curvature from the actual skeleton, because this part's round for the most part, the up front part of your face is round. So we're going to have 2 points. We're going to connect those 2 points in any way and fashion we feel like. We're going to overlap the top line a little bit. And now we have a mouth. But we already have our teeth because we already drew them. Now, if I wanted to give this guy lips, I just have to make the lips coming out of the origin points from the side. Now have lips. Nostrils go on the side of the nose bridge, and your nose in general has like a very diamond-y type of shape to it, into whatever type of like nose bridge you want to give it. Cool. So now what was that, me? Who just texted me? What was that? Weird. Okay. Anyway. So from that point on, we can go down from the bottom teeth. I know that our bottom jaw is going to consist of our bottom teeth and our chin. So those 2 elements have to be there. So I know that those 2 elements have to be fit in there somewhere. So then from the edge of my cheekbone to my chin, I'm going to roughly trace a line. This is going to be affected to both sides, right? This is going to be all the little muscle, cheek tissue, membranes, like, and all those little tension points that happen between your face. And then from there, you decide how wide your jaw is going to be. That is going to lead to my temple, the side of my face, and then from here, I get to draw my ear. My ear has depth as well. And it's not necessarily always just pointing straight back or forth, so you have to make sure that. I'm going to give my character enough space for a brain. And then on the top of the head, we might have like a hairline into some sideburns, or maybe like wrinkles or something like that. Muscle tissues tend to create crevices at the side of the ears, coming into the chin, at the top of the chin, and little shadows that go around the eye just normally go around where the eye socket would be recessed. If you want to give like some cool anime scars, it would cover and trace the surface of these elements, so it would go around. If you want to give it more depth, of course. From there, the bottom of the ears is going to indicate where my neck would connect to my collarbone. So I know that the bottom of my neck is going to connect to my collarbone. That's a pretty high collarbone. Let's try it over here. That's the outside of my neck. Then from here, I get to dictate how wide my neck is going to be. In this case, I'm going to give this guy a slightly wider neck. So this is the width of my neck in general. Very easy, very simple to draw. And then from there, I have the back muscle that connects to my collarbone and the front. So my collarbone goes from there, and then the back muscle connects to the collarbone as well. And then you can go down the whole body like that, and it could just literally be like, that could be the like a video that we do, right? So understanding a basic component of your body and how they connect with each other is very important, because it allows you the ability to not be like blocked by only having to draw things a certain way every single time, right? By understanding these basic premises of the mask and drawing through your shapes and figuring out mapping points on both sides, you unlock the ability to not just draw anything you want, but at the same time, you're not going to be segmented into just drawing in a single way the entirety of your career now. Now you can go out and use these sort of like lessons and little tiny exercises that you're going to be practicing with to be able to create all the cool things that you guys have wanted to do, but just maybe didn't take the time to learn something that you needed to be able to get there. So animals, humanoids, everything can be benefited by you just taking the time to learn your foundations when it comes down to perspective, anatomy, and yes, even human anatomy can help you with your animal companions. Yo. Oh, thank you. Did you guys know that wait, what? He has all the key placements for everything. Oh yeah, like I've been doing this for a very long time. So when people ask me, like, I can honestly probably draw most animals even in a box. Like if I needed to draw, I don't know, something like a shark or something like that, I could probably draw it within a box because I just know enough anatomy to make something look like a shark in a very, very confined space. Like a squished up shark. Let's give them some water to not be cruel. And then we'll put them in a glass. He's a Sharktini. But yeah, like understanding the body parts, understanding how animals move. For example, snakes are very interesting. Snakes have a very, very interesting way of being. And that's because their spine is such a movable thing. Like, they expanded, they contracted, they have like an infinite ways of like changing their body system. But it's really interesting how it works, because their spine and their rib cage isn't connected at the bottom, so it expands depending on what they're eating and stuff. And then their skeletal systems are like all sorts of cool. Plus their mouths like just unhinged. So cool too. Right. So snakes in general have like such versatility, and like whenever I see somebody just half-assing it and like just drawing it super stylized, when people have the skill and the ability to draw them differently, like it's a shame. It's a shame that somebody that has the ability to draw doesn't take the time to actually like just do a little bit of research and draw them. And I see that a lot in tattoo artists, right? Like, you guys, please go live your life and actually like experience what it is to like actually like see animals instead of just drawing like traditional American stuff all the time. Like, nothing against traditional American tattooing, but it's such a tough thing for me to be like, yeah, that's amazing art. I'm sorry. I'm not a very critical person of art in general, but I just don't understand it. Like, I just don't. Like, especially like traditional American pinups. Like, they look horrible to me. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let's see, how would that go? Yeah, I don't know. I have very jaded views on some of the community standards for the tattoo industry. I dated a person for like 5 years that was heavily in there, and the amount of like abuse that happens when it comes down to like teaching a new person how to do things is so insanely like disrespectful. Like, it's just not even like, they really need to learn to change the way that they approach things. Anyways, let's continue on. You draw a Charizard. The thing in his pencil is called the Gorilla Gripper. This is called the Gorilla Gripper? I didn't know that. To me, it's just a little triangle grip that I found at the art store. Like, I just have like 3 or 4 of them. I've had them for years, but it's just a little grip. It's not anything special. They sell them round. They sell them like cylindrical. They sell them like little foamy ones. They all serve the same purpose, and you can find them at Target, Walmart. You can find them at any art store. You can just make your own by rolling it up in tape. You know, you can do anything you want to just make the pencil a little bit thicker so that it doesn't hurt your hand pressing on it all the time. That's essentially all it is. Is it good? Yeah, I mean, it fits even my Apple Pencil. It got all loose from putting it on my Apple Pencil, but I just stick something in there if it becomes loose. The guy who drew W lost his favorite grip, and he said that's why. Really? Do you recommend drawing on an iPad or a notebook? I recommend drawing, period. So it doesn't matter if you're drawing on your iPad. If you're drawing on your iPad and you love the undo buttons and the templates and the colors and the range and everything, go for it, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with any sort of drawing. As long as you're drawing and as long as you're creating, then you are good, my friend. The thing is, like, so many people like to segment themselves into their own little categories in the art world, right? Oh, I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm an artist. I'm a graphic designer. I'm an animator. I'm a blah, blah, blah. I'm a blah, 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 blah. Dude, like, stop segmenting yourself into a minuscule amount of, like, you're like, no, stop doing that. Just start calling yourself a creative human being that can do it all. You can do it on notebooks. You can do it on an iPad. You can do whatever you want. Your preference of tool does not make you limited to that sort of drawing. Yay! If you like doodling and you just like doodling in your notebooks, that is just as equally valid as somebody trying to make a comic. It's bringing you joy and it's making you happy, right? You don't need it to mean anything else. You don't need it to be anything more than just something that makes you happy. Okay? That is number one rule that you should like learn to adopt in your art. If it does not make you happy, don't do it. Like, that's why I stopped doing a lot of product design, right? I used to love doing product design for myself, right? I used to love doing t-shirt designs and garment designs and products, and I ended up doing so good that somebody hired me to do it for them. Well, when I started doing it for other people, it wasn't as fun anymore at all, because all the direction that they would give me was just absolute garbage, right? So I ended up not enjoying myself creating the stuff that I wanted to create. So I would go home and I'd be emotionally drained from doing all this stuff for other people. So I would come home just tired as all living hell. Right? I'd just be like, ugh. Just want to play like a couple games of League of Legends and call it a goddamn day. Like, that's all that I would want to do when I got home. Just play some League. And then just feel a little bit of happiness, feeling some sort of joy, because I just spent the entire day creating and it just all led to nothing. So as you go about, doing so, make sure that whenever you do get a job doing something that you think is creative, that it doesn't suck the soul right out of you and ends up with you being like completely miserable. Find the thing that brings you joy. Embrace it. And snuggle up with that like one thing that you absolutely love. And just don't let it go, right? Be it just silly drawings in your notebook, or be it like, I don't know, kind of like I did. I wanted to journal my life. So I started drawing myself a lot so that I could journal my life doing the things that I want. I'm going to be live until I finish this sketchbook page. We normally do lessons for about an hour, and then we continue on. And by the way, if you guys do feel like you guys are... Sorry about that. I dropped my Gravy watercolor kit. And it's still good. Well, if you guys are enjoying what I'm putting out and you guys actually learning a little bit, there's a couple ways you guys can support. You guys can go visit my store and you guys can purchase my books if you guys feel like you have some inclination to want to get something cool from me. They are ebooks, and there's also printed books through Amazon. So you guys can go purchase my books if you guys feel inclined to actually help. I would love you guys forever if you did. That is how I essentially pay my bills. So you guys helping me out by purchasing something is always a welcomed addition. Now you guys can go support me on my other channels like YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that. I am looking to get to the 100,000 subscribers on YouTube so that I can get a plaque. So once I get my plaque, I have my studio going to be complete because I'm going to put like cool lights and stuff. But I need 47,000 more people to join to be able to get that. On Instagram, we broke the 150. And then here, we're almost at 200,000. So that is going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing thing when we get to 200,000 followers. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this character. He's so simple. But anyways, once we get to 200,000 subscribers, I'll do like a nice big giveaway. I'll figure out something to do. I'll do like a subscriber like stream where I just draw a ton of you guys and doing like a 2-hour time span or something like that. Something fun for all of you guys to actually enjoy. For, you know, getting me there and actually getting to me to the point where I'm actually like almost able to actually make a living off of this. Like it's getting to the point where I might actually be able to continue this route and actually have it be like suitable for me to sustain myself. So I am incredibly happy about that. It's a complete surprise that came out of nowhere. So thank you guys all for that. But let's continue with our lesson so we can finish off. Let's keep on drawing some animals. All right, let's see. So one little thing that I know about animals, I'm going to identify little tiny snippets. I know for a fact that if you're trying to draw like a fish or a shark, they have vertical fins, right? So if you're trying to draw fish in general, they're going to have their tails vertically. That being in sharks, that being in betta fish, whatever you end up deciding to draw, if it's going to be a fish, it's going to have vertical tail. If you're trying to draw a whale, so vertical for fish. You're trying to draw a mammal, they have their tails a little bit different. They have their tails horizontally. Okay, so things like dolphins and orcas and whales in general tend to have their tails horizontally. Now, this applies to a bunch of different ones. Well, pretty much every single whale or mammal that's in the water is going to have a situation where their tail is more vertically than that, or horizontally. So that is one little tip and trick that I know. Let's see, what other tips and tricks do I know that can help you guys out just from the top of my head? I don't know. Let's see. Well, when you're drawing animals in general, overlapping lines are going to be your best friends. Overlapping lines and just learning how to do like slight foreshadow, like foreshortening with your elements is going to allow you, and especially if you learn how to draw through your shapes, allow you to draw things a little bit easier when it comes down to difficult drawing angles. Okay, you're going to be able to draw more complicated shapes and animals if you are able to visualize them a little bit more complex. And that comes with visualization exercises and perspective work in general. But being able to actually identify those overlapping shapes is very important if you want to actually develop the ability to do so. So practicing your circles inside of circles is very important. Mapping out two parts of the circle, connecting them, circle and circles and circles, and then connecting the tops of them gives you dimensional stuff. Learning how to draw snakes is really easy. You could just draw a bunch of circles and then try to connect just the tops. Okay, so all these elements that I'm teaching you guys are just basic concepts. The amount of detail that you choose to put on top of it is going to be completely up to you. You can draw a bunny by just drawing 2 ears and 3 lines, or you can go in and add a bunch of detail to make it look more specifically to what you want to do. Zombie bunny. So, you get the idea though. So, yeah. Let's see. What else should we talk about? What else should we talk about, people? What else do you guys want to know? Do birds. Birds are easy. Birds have beaks and they have poofy bodies. Most of the trouble comes with understanding how the beaks connect and how their wings are placed on their bodies. But birds in general are some of the easiest to draw. Mostly because their whole bodies are essentially one big soup. Yeah, birds in general are not really necessarily all super hard to draw. It's just a matter of understanding the basic elements like the beak and stuff like that. But the beak is really easy to draw because you already know how to draw the mask. So once you know how to draw your mask, with a bird, your nose canal is just a little bit bigger than you would with a nose. But it's the same exact concept than what you're already drawing. So that's the mask. That's the same exact mask as this for a human. You're just making that nose canal a little bit bigger. Yeah, so the mask is very, very, very good. Do you want to draw the rest of the... Let's draw another shark, this one. Da, 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 da. There you go. He's happy. Your art style lessons really bring me joy. Aww, that's nice to say. So you can draw dolphins and stuff like that as well by drawing the same circles. But you have to go out and actually look at what a dolphin looks like if you want to actually be able to draw dolphins. Same thing with most animals in general. Like, you need to do a little bit of research so you understand how those animals move, how those animals like emotion works, how their bodies connect. And then once you understand that, it becomes a little bit easier to be able to draw that. I just posted a reel that I saw from from an animator, right? And I saw, and they were like, "Hey, don't learn to animate. Like, go, like, learn to live your life, and then worry about animating, because it's more important. You need to understand how life works in order to be able to animate properly." Da, 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 da. Yay. So go live life. Go live life. Go enjoy yourself. Go do risky things. Go to those weird parties that you guys never want to go to. Like, just go do stuff. Nah, I don't draw Garbage Pail Kids, mostly because I just don't know, and I know they sue a lot. So, like, they actually sue people like crazy. But if you wanted to draw a really ugly kid, let's draw a little ugly kid. Okay, so we have a little bit of space left. We'll save this for a outgoing message that I like telling you guys, but let's draw some more. Let's go here. Perspective where you see the chin and people can't do it. Perspective where you see the chin of people. So what you're having an issue with is going from a drawing that's like this, right, to why is it hard for you to draw it like that? This is this shape going from your ear around back to your other ear. Your ear around going to your other ear. And that's as easy as just drawing a sphere, drawing a circle inside of your sphere, mapping one ear out, mapping your other ear out, and then connecting them to your chin. And then you get all that little underside that you guys are so hesitant to draw all the time. You want to angle it more? Cool, angle it more. Change the angle of the circle. Angle it more. Give yourself a chin. Connect the dots. And now you have an even more turned up face. See what I mean? The nose is a triangle or a diamond with a top and a bottom, and that diamond just turns into a nose in whichever way you want. The noses are easy. From a front view, it's just two sides. And it comes from your nose canal, right? So it has to come out from the little triangle. So you draw a little diamond coming out of that triangle, top and bottom, and ta-da! How do you find the chin? Well, okay, let me ask you this. When you're drawing a mouth, right? Let's say you draw a character and you draw a mouth. Where do you think the chin is? What do you think the chin is consistent of, right? So when we focus on drawing from style, we forget this because we are focused on just recreating a style. When you're drawing a mouth, you're essentially drawing a couple components. You're drawing your teeth, you're drawing your cheekbones, you need your bottom teeth, and you need a chin. So the bottom part of your mouth consists of, here's your upper mouth, consists of your teeth. Regardless of how your mouth opens, it's your teeth. Then you have your chin, and then that connects to your jaw. That goes to the back of your head. So, how do you draw the chin? It's kind of silly. It's like saying, how do you draw the nose? It's a big part of your face. So if you understand your basic anatomy, you would understand you have your teeth, your nose canal, your cheekbones, eye sockets, and then your bottom teeth and a chin. And accounting for all those places, you get an actual face. So you have to account for all the elements in your face. And if you don't know how they connect, well, then you have some homework to do, right? You have to understand how basic elements like your eyes, your nose, your teeth, your bottom teeth, your chin, and your jaw all work intertwined with each other. Why? Because that's what gives you an understanding of the spacing for your elements. That is what gives you an idea of how to draw different characters. Well, I want a character that's nice, short, and stubby. Well, I'm going to draw all his features nice, short, and stubby instead of long. And then I'm going to add all my details inside. Right? So I work off my anatomy that I know up until the level that I know, instead of relying on style all the time. Now, you can apply style once you understand this concept. Once you understand where things fall, let's say that I wanted a character with a floating eyebrow, right? Well, now I know that my eyebrows are supposed to go here, but now I want to do it here because I feel like it, right? Well, the reasoning behind doing it now like that, well, I know that the other parts of my body still are consistent to my original spacing. But the temple of my face is going to be where the edge of the eyebrow would be originally, not where it is now. So I know that my shading in the side of my face is going to start here. It's not going to start up here. So this decision doesn't change the way my body works. It just means that I changed it due to style. So when I decide to change something based on style, it's going to look better knowing where I have to connect my things anyways, instead of guessing later on, like, oh, but then my hairline must be right up here, right? Because my eyebrow's here. No, your hairline's right here. This doesn't change the spacing between your things. It just means that you decided to draw it in the wrong place on purpose. And that is what styling technically is. learning how to break the rules of anatomy in a way that is appealing. That is what style is. Your style is not your foundational work. Your style is what you make things look pretty like. And it's just should be used just as often as you would, like, I don't know, shadows, like line work. The style comes later, way later. Like once you decide what you want to draw and you set your foundational lines and you know like the building blocks of what you're going to draw, then you decide what style you're going to choose. Okay? That's the moment where you decide what type of look and design you're going to give your things. Not before, not as you're drawing it. No, you do that after you have laid down the groundwork for everything to look good. Because it's more important for it to look like it's actually placed right, and your styling is just the sprinkles on top. When drawing a face, how do you draw your eyes the same size? Well, then why are you drawing them the opposite sides? Like, if you're drawing your eyes, and you draw an eye like this, why would you not just try to draw it the same size? Just draw a little line or something. Like that. Like if you're drawing in 3/4 and you mean that, right? If you're drawing in 3/4 and you're wondering why this eye doesn't look the same, draw the exact same eye. And then the hemispheres for your eyes are going to be the same. The only reason, you can't even see that. Well, here, let's do it again. So, 3/4 view. Draw an eye, draw the other eye, and then draw what's being blocked by your eyebrow. Draw the hemispheres for them. And they're going to look like the same eye. Because you're drawing them as the same shape. If you don't think like that, and you're drawing eyes like super stylized eyes, I'm like, yeah, look at all that detail. Oh yeah, look at that goal. Oh yeah, look at it. They're so gross. Oh man, I draw the coolest eyes in the world. And then the other eye is like, because you don't know how to draw it. Or it ends up like super weird in like a weird position or something. Like, that is easily avoidable by just drawing the same shape. Block the nose bridge. And you have two eyes. The same size. Now, if you notice that your eyes are the same, not the same size, right? If you notice that one of them is smaller, and you end up drawing like eyes like this or something. Well, if you are realizing this, why are you not just going in and changing it? You clearly understand that that's the problem. So why are you not correcting your drawings? That is my concern more than anything. It's not because most people don't see their mistakes, right? So most people don't see their mistakes, so they don't know what to change. If you are actively understanding that your eyes are not the same size, then you already know the problem. You don't need someone to tell you that. You can go in and fix that issue by just being a little bit self-critical. No, we drew hair not too long ago. We drew hair yesterday. So yesterday's lesson on hair was pretty cool. Essentially, I taught you guys how to draw a circle inside of a circle to come up with your hairline. right? Once you find your hairline, you can draw whatever crazy hair you have as long as it connects back to that same space. So any of these shapes can have any sort of hair that you want as long as it connects back to this same shape around my shape. So let's say that I want to, I don't know, create like a little flowy hairline. If there's any splits in the hair, that is going to be what hair like parts are. But in the end real, like concise, easiest way, shape, or form, it's just drawing through your shape to find your hairline, and then from there you can dictate however you want to stylize your hair. It just has to connect back onto that top line. Hairline, I don't know, pigtails. Arms. We talked about arms recently too. Let me see if I have space in the arms section. Okay, we have arms. No, we did not talk about arms there. Did we talk about? We talked about arms here. Let's see. We have space right here. So if we want to draw arms, in general, our arms consist of a couple different spots. We have our shoulder, we have our bicep, we have the elbow area. We have the shoulder and the pectoral muscle. Then we have our forearm, our wrist, our hand, and our fingers. Okay, so when we're drawing, in general, we're drawing an arm. The problem is that we don't really know how to like layer these elements, and it confuses us. Right? It just really generally just confuses the living hell out of us, because the forearm is a complicated shape because it's a bunch of muscles wrapping around, right, into like a flat surface that's your wrist. And then the bicep and the tricep like get intersected by the shoulder, and then the shoulder is not the same shape on front and the back. So it's a general pain in the butt to actually learn how to draw that part. But the way that I like to simplify it is as such. If you're looking at an arm completely flat, you would have a little bit of your shoulder, or looking at the neck. A little bit of your shoulder connects at the front of your collarbone. A little bit of your shoulder connects at the back of your collarbone. So your shoulder kind of breaks up your body in two, like it's right in the middle almost. Then from there, that middle of your shoulder is going to split your tricep, which is the back of your arm, and your bicep, which is the front of your arm. The tricep tends to be bigger than the bicep. So a lot of people like to make their muscle guys, have like really huge biceps. Rah. But in all reality, if you drew the arm like it actually is, your triceps would actually be way bigger than your bicep. Just because that's the way, like the muscle tends to grow bigger, I guess. Then from there, we have the forearm that wraps around the base of your bicep, and then we have our hand. So when you're simplifying that, you can simplify it into two triangles. When you're simplifying your arms, I like to simplify it into these two shapes. Boom, boom. To me, that shape just lets you know absolutely everything you need to know about the arm. And if you decide later on that you want to add more detail to it, you can. But for the most part, being able to draw it like this is generally like the easiest, simplest way that I found to draw the arm. A little swoop into like a little cone, teardrop into a swoopy. So teardrop into a swoopy. Overlap the lines, create your hand, and you have an arm. in whatever direction you need it. And the same thing for legs. The legs work very similarly. Right? If you draw your legs like that, it's going to be really easy to draw really cool detailed legs for your characters. I know you're cheating on me with Emily. Who's Emily? Ooh. Do you have a recording? I'll probably upload this one to YouTube because it was actually quite informative. So yes, I will most likely upload it to YouTube. If you guys see something that you have been wanting to learn and you're seeing it in the lessons below, or in the pages that I'm drawing, it most likely is on YouTube, so you guys might want to go check that out. If you guys want to learn some more, of course. Yeah, developing your own drawing systems is fun. Mostly because, like, once you understand a little bit more, it just, I don't know, for some reason it just seems like it was so hard before. But once I learned just the basic concepts of a couple things, right? Like the whole drawing through my shape was a gigantic leap forward. Like drawing this, just being able to do this and extend my shapes and stuff like that, like that was life like altering, because that literally meant like I could draw anything, like from eyes, mouths, everything just became a little bit easier when I was starting to visualize them like that. Okay, things like lips are a joke. Something that I thought was so incredibly hard before, to now it's just like, honestly, like the most commonplace thing that you can draw. 2 dots, connect the dots. And create a mouth. So 2 dots, anywhere in the face, connect them like a rubber band, overlap the top line, negative space, you have a mouth. Like it's just so easy to draw mouths. So easy. Like it's literally connect 2 dots. One dot around my shape. Connect them all 4. Create lips. To have a mouth. Like it's honestly like it took me so long to learn how to draw like just mouths in general, and all it took was learning how to connect 2 dots together, overlap the top line, and then design the inside any way that I feel like. Like when I learned that, I was like, what the hell am I been doing with my life? The same thing for eyes too, by the way. You have 2 dots, connect 2 dots, overlap the top line, create whatever look you want inside. Boom. Like it's just so easy. Yay! Watching a few of your lives on TikTok has helped me. Woohoo! If you're crossing legs, that's an interesting one. Okay. So if we're crossing legs, so if you know where your hip bones are, right? Crossing legs is a matter of foreshortening. So we would have one leg in the front, one leg in the front crossing, with our feet crossing. And then these shapes have to connect back to those opening holes. So from where my top part with my kneecap would connect, that is the top of my leg, so that goes to the top of this shape. The bottom of the leg goes to the bottom of this shape. And then you have yourself a sitting down person in the yoga position with super simple mapping up. Now your toes can be doing something different, of course. They don't have to have like that. But in general, this is how you would approach it. NA ballpoint. How do you show the different angles of the foot? Learn how to draw this position, this little shape. Learn to draw it in different angles. It's just a cylinder into a half cone. So if you took the whole cone, like a half ice cream cone, if you learn how to draw that, you can learn how to draw a foot really easy. So learn how to draw a cylinder into a half cone of ice cream. Boop, boop, boop. And then from there you can create shoes, you can create all the little cool things you like to do. Okay, so learn how to draw that. Take that, then take some anatomy lessons or get some books, and not how to draw anatomy, just look at it. Just look at it and how can I apply what I just learned from Rod into that little shape? How can I apply fingers and toes to something that he just taught me was a basic shape? It's going to be up to you to take the time to visualize it. I can show you examples of how I draw it, but me showing you examples of how to draw something is irrelevant if you don't take the time to go out and understand it. So me giving you a opening pathway to your learning is step one. You going out and actually learning is step 1 through or 2 through 10. He's sitting on a chair and having one leg over the other. Okay. So if you needed that, you have your hip bones. You have one leg that's going to be crossed, and then the other leg has to be underneath. So that's even easier. And then I'm assuming he's sitting down somewhere. Right? So that's essentially how you would do it. Anyways, we are running out of space and we are running out of time for today. So thank you guys so much for being my drawing buddies today. I think we learned quite a bit of stuff today. We started with ninjas, and then we moved on to animals. And then we talked a little bit about anatomy, and we talked a little bit about how to apply that anatomy to animals as well, how to apply human anatomy to humanoid creatures, and how to apply things like ears and beaks using the mask method as our basis to be able to create a lot of really cool things. And then how you need to use reference and visualize and actually go live life in order to be able to pay attention to these little details that you see. We talked about how to simplify turning the jaw by just drawing a circle inside of a circle, and also, just simplifications and little tips and tricks about how to draw different animals and how to, in general, move parts of your body like the jaw, the mouth, the eyes, and how to identify them better. So thank you guys so much for your time and attention. If you guys feel like supporting, again, my art books are for sale. You guys can get a free coloring book if you guys go and just sign up for your emails. So just go get your email, get your coloring book, get your activity book. If you guys ever fill one of those out, please show me. I would love to see you guys fill in some of the coloring book ideas that I have, right? Especially like the tattoo, I draw the tattoos on the pinup idea thing that I have it going on. So you guys can check that out. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being my drawing buddies. And as always, at the end of our streams, I want to leave you guys with a nice message, especially going into the weekend. Because, so many of us don't really have a person to draw with, creative people to set aside to nerd out with, or even have someone to draw. So what I do here for you guys on TikTok every day is so we all have drawing buddies and somebody, to bounce off ideas or even ask questions or even just sit down and know that we give a shit. So thank you guys so much for being my community. You guys are amazing. And as always, I love you all. Go support me on YouTube so we can get to the 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's also where a bunch of our content is. So if you guys want to watch any more of my stuff, you guys can watch it there. But as we end this stream, please go out and love a little. That means go out and share the world with someone. Go eat an ice cream with your best friend. Call them up. Tell them you love them. Tell your family how grateful you are. Stuff like that. The second thing is to go live a little. As we have mentioned, you can only really be a good illustrator if you know how to illustrate from life. So you need to go outside and live a little bit of your life in order to have something to draw. Draw inspiration from life. I want you guys to laugh a little. Because what's life without laughter? Of course. And most important of all, go out and draw a lot. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Talk to you guys soon. And see you in the next lesson.